the truth profoundly. These are Germans here. Fubbi to the message clear. Go Paul Das and Paul. They say Duane the writer leads the way. Time to madness. It's bright. Gotta wake up, see the light.
In my experience, I was in a forest. I don't know why I was there, but I was there with Phil and that Fubbi guy. Oh, I forgot to mention I have 2 experiences to share. Figure that's important info. This is the first one. Anyways, we were just kind of walking through this forest, which looked kind of pointless to me, because like we weren't doing anything but walking. I'd much rather be playing Fortnite, honestly. We weren't even really talking. Fubbi and Phil were just kind of singing the New You, but I was just like there walking. But then like all of a sudden, that Fubbi guy stopped us. I was real confused. But then he pulled out this like collar and leash. It looked kind of like the one Phil gave me to train me to be more obedient. As soon as I saw that, man, I was sure he was going to put it on me. But actually, he went over to Phil and put the collar and leash on him. What happened next was crazy. Instantly, Phil started changing. His skin started growing these black scales all over the place. There was like just more and more of them. Some of them were purple though. I remember that. The purple ones were kind of in like this like striped pattern, mostly on the back. Anyways, yeah, these scales were like growing in and they were covering his body. But while that was happening, his shape just like started changing. He got a lot bigger, like 2 or 3 times his size. That also meant that all his clothes got ripped apart and he was left naked, but it's not like I haven't seen Phil naked before. His body was also getting covered in scales anyways. But like, I also saw there was a tail growing, and his arms were getting longer. His fingers were getting longer. His toes started growing these like sharp claws too, and his face started getting longer into a snout. It was a crazy thing to see. Soon after that, I noticed that his arms and fingers were like, they were getting longer for a reason. There was this like webbing that started forming between his fingers and to the sides of his body. So his arms were kind of becoming these big wings. And they were also covered in the same scales except for the leathery webbing stuff. He was also growing these big horns out the back of his skull, and like, that's gotta hurt. I kind of noticed something else too, though. I know what Phil's penis looks like, obviously, but as the other changes were happening, I noticed his penis was like definitely getting smaller. That was really confusing. I thought dragons had big dicks. I always do when I'm a dragon on the real side. I kind of watched it get smaller and smaller, and like, it totally receded into his body. But then I was like, duh. Reptiles have the whole slit thing. And yeah, I was right. He got a slit. I was sure there was a big dragon dick in there. By that point, the rest of his changes looked pretty done too. It was this big black and purple dragon. Or was he technically a wyvern, because the wing arms? I'll go with that. The collar and leash actually got bigger to match his new wyvern body too. I don't know how Fubbi did that. By the way, Fubbi seemed pretty pleased with what he did, so I guess that must have helped Phil become more aware somehow. I tried saying hey to Phil, but he didn't respond at first. Tried again, and he did this like head bob thing, so I guess he could still understand me, but just couldn't speak. Which was fine with me. But then he turned to face away from me. Thought that was pretty rude at first, until he raised his tail as high as he could and lowered the front of his body to the ground. And man, let me tell you, that activated something in me. I know this probably sounds weird, but like, I could smell his need. Or well, it wasn't like a male need, if that makes sense. I kind of recognized it as like a female need to be bred. I don't know how I knew that, I just kind of did. So I looked again at Phil's slit, and that's when I kind of noticed it didn't look like the slit I get when I'm a dragon on the real side. I looked up at Fubbi to see if he would confirm my suspicion, and he nodded his head. So, yeah, Phil is actually a female wyvern, and she wanted to be bred. Seeing her and taking in her scent activated something in me, though. And I really fucking needed to transform my fluffy dragon form that I've used before, like that instant. I just had to. So I did. And I even had the cowboy hat and the tail bag that Rebazar bought me in the previous experience that I had. Immediately, it felt a little harder to think. All I could think about was giving Phil eggs, man. My bits were already starting to come out of my slit, but man, I guess I was really eager, because I walked up to her and gave her slit a lick. That got a reaction out of her. I definitely noticed Phil lower the front of her. Man, it's really throwing me off to call Phil her, but that's just what happened. I noticed Phil lower the front of her body more, and she let out this sound of pleasure. So I knew I was doing something right. It kind of egged me on too. Get it? Egg? Because that's all I could think about was giving Phil eggs. I took a step back. I felt that my dick was totally extended. So I was so ready to get on top of her. The big brains, big dick. So yeah, I got on top of her and just kind of let instinct do its thing. I thrust over and over, harder and harder. But there was still some stuff I knowingly did too. I decided to pull on Phil's leash that was just kind of dangling there, and she really liked that. Helped me get close enough to her neck to give it a bite. That's a claiming thing for dragons, I think. I don't know, it was instinctual. I kept pulling on her leash while I thrust harder and faster into her, and man, let me tell you, it felt so fucking good to fuck Phil. My huge dragon dick just slid right in and out of Phil's pussy. I guess that's what they're for anyways. I kept going faster and harder with it until I gave a hard tug on her leash, bit her on the neck again, and climaxed. Biggest climax of my life. I filled Phil, bro. I pulled my dick out from her slit, and I started to think clearly again, because my need was met or whatever. Phil was looking pretty spent too. She was panting, and her slit was dripping with my dragon cum. Thought about going over and licking it, because I was curious what it tasted like, but I decided not to. And that's all I remember for the experience, man. Though I could defo say I woke up to find that I jizzed in my sleep pants a bit. The real side experience was really just that hot.
Okay, as the doctor would say. All right, so you guys are getting these extreme experiences, and again, you two have a lot to go over because you're very intertwined here. So you kids have been together for lifetimes, and so you're winding it up now together, but you'll help each other a lot. So it's interesting how the boys are doing these extreme experiences with you. You've had this before, you and Phil, and it's okay. It doesn't matter, whatever. But again, it's like two people, you might say in love, a man and a woman, doesn't matter. And, today you got men and men, women and women, whatever, all right? Whatever it is, whatever people decide, anything can be decided in creation. And if it's figured out long enough, it becomes so. It just does. On the real side, it's instant. And so now you see why Fubbi put the leash around Phil. Okay, so and the forest idea is very interesting. That comes up many, many times on the real side, and many people don't know what it means. There's an old saying, cannot see the forest before the trees. So in other words, most people, for the most part, forests are kind of, forests are wonderful and beautiful, but, to a lot of people, it's like it's the unknown. Can't really, if you go in there, it's spooky. There can be creatures in there, whatever, etc. Not to everybody, but to some people. Some people love the forest. And the idea is that most people, if they have a tree in their yard or something, they're fine with a tree here and there. But the forest represents the unknown, is what it represents. That's the old saying, can't see the forest before the trees. In other words, cannot see the unknown past your own personal mind. That's what that old saying means. That's one view on it. And so you kids are in the forest, and so it's a private, silent, mysterious place, unknown, kind of like Alice in Wonderland. And all of a sudden you're having these experiences here outside the city consciousness. Because if you look over yonder, all of a sudden in the distance, you see the city. That's where the everybody is buzzing around doing what they're doing with their personal selves. But you guys are off having adventures, and Fubbi is there. Yes, Fubbi is awesome. And he's taking you through some of the ropes of helping you to wake up. So the eggs represent new births. Just like a chicken or a duck or anybody has an egg. Dinosaurs have eggs, dragons have eggs, women have children, etc. Same thing, it's a new birth. And so just like the experience you had with the Rebazar, it's a whole bunch of new births is what it is. And then these are all viewpoints. Just like a woman, just like a mother having a child or many children, each child, even if they look the same, even if they're twins or triplets or whatever, they all have their own viewpoint, don't they? And that's what we are. We are all viewpoints in life, and we add to life. This is how, as we become more aware and aware of what all life is, you might say we join in and provide our awareness and viewpoint with all this, which makes it fun, you see? So we're always all together. This is where nobody dies. The body does, but like your mother or whatever, Eric, she's just fine like you are right now. It's just that the body died, just like an old car, just gave out. And so again,
Man, I miss my mom.
Yeah. So again, she wasn't really your mom. We don't really have moms and dads. We are just each a being unto ourselves with other beings. We are viewpoints in life, is what we are. It's seeing and being. But in the meantime, you kids are producing new births. In other words, you're producing new viewpoints for yourself to better wake up and become more aware. You need more viewpoints. Just like since you started this, you have a whole bunch of new viewpoints. And look at the rest of the world. They don't. They're just staying the same. They're in their mind frame routines, you see, created by the social system. That's why you went to school. So you would be mind framed at a young age and just obey the social routines. So you just keep coming back lifetime after lifetime after lifetime and being controlled. And this is the jollies and the entertainment of the controllers, the shapeshifter reptilians. They enjoy this, and they enjoy you being destroyed too. But now you have real guidance that shows you how to get past this. And so in the meantime, you're doing all these funny things to offset your personal life too, and to grab your interest, you might say. And again, it just depends upon how far you go with this to eventually become totally aware of what all life is. But that's a huge process. But no, this is good, Eric. It's very good.
We gather round, real guides bring the truth profound. These are Germans here, Fubbi to the message clear. Go Paul, Das and Paul, they say Duane The Writer leads the way. Time to madness, it's blight. Gotta wake up, see the light. Don't think, just feel the vibe. The sun's are gonna cause it dry. Break the chains, the mental hold. Truth unfold, the storms are guide. A cosmic drive. Break the chains, the mental hold. The truth unfold, the story told. We strong, a united front. Against the darkness, we will hunt. Time to break the simulation spell with new you power. We are skibbity new you. Breaking free from the matrix. Forces lurking, reptilian scheme. That lies that control a twisted dream. You together, we rise above. Shattering the lies, spreading risky. I knew you staring at the thing to be done. the sun, the only thing to be done.